Okay, welcome back to the channel tonight. Come on into this dimension and come on into a special live that we're doing where we're going to be highlighting everything that's going on with the Beast Machine and the current events that have to do with uh, the recent deal that Trump has made with Palantir, essentially, and the CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp, at the World Economic Forum, some deals that they actually, I think this originally started in or the deals were originally made in 2023. So it's something they've been in the knowing about for some time, but they have a primary goal, and that is to bring forth a global standard for the world's behavior, essentially, under an AI police state, under a global technocratic regime under basically OWS, which is something we're going to talk about tonight, and we'll tell you what those abbreviations stand for essentially when it comes to what is occurring. But this is actually very alarming for many reasons that we're going to go over tonight with my divine sister, Ani Sophine, from Quantum Messages on her YouTube channel. And basically, essentially, they're going to be weaving in AI surveillance intricately through the whole federal government, creating a massive database of all of our personal and sensitive data for the first time in history, taking it to the next level, merging everything from your taxes to your birth certificate to your social security card to your banking information to your social media to your doctor's records. Basically, anything that you've ever checked in on in the entire world is going to be uploaded into this database essentially. And it's a merger across the board, unlike anything they've ever seen before. And it's really a backdoor that's coming through Doge and Elon Musk and all the technocrats that essentially are within the Trump administration. So it's a really, really big deal what's happening. This is really kind of blowing up. A lot of people are blowing the whistle, blowing the warning, trying to alert people to look at this and not just be so docile, not just be so sleeping when it comes to Skynet that they're installing through the Golden Dome and everything that's basically playing out. So yeah, they say we might be coming into the time of dark enlightenment, and I think we've all seen this. Us in the spiritual community and the higher consciousness community, we've been talking about this for years at this point, pushing back on everything that's harmful in terms of the AI global takeover, which is what we are currently seeing at this time. And I just want to give a trigger warning for everyone tuning in and watching tonight that if you're a huge Trump lover or a huge Trump supporter right now, you may be starting to question the narrative. You may starting to question what is actually going on because a lot of things just are not entirely making sense. So, yeah. Thank you guys. Just know that, me and Ani both, and I won't speak entirely for you, Ani, but I feel like we both genuinely have really kind of supported a lot of the efforts that Trump has brought forward in terms of his presidency. But we have some hard boundary lines. We
Mhm.
have some areas in which we're like, no, if things cross this certain point, you know, we're not all in anymore and we continue to question, and I think we all should continue to question. We all should continue to essentially not just trust um the deep state at this point because it's all a part of the deep state.
Mhm.
So thank you, Ani, for being here tonight. Thanks for tuning in and checking on in with this live. And how are you doing tonight, sister?
I'm doing good. I was just yeah, I'm listening to everything that you're saying, and I just, we've known about this for a very long time. And so I just, we've been talking about it, been trying to bring it into the community, and people can either like take what we're saying or leave it. But the bottom line is that we all of us have been manipulated 100%. And so
Yeah.
all like they're basically lockstepping everything that they have planned out originally, probably like over 50. I feel like this plan has been in place for a really long time. And I believe that they've had the technology AI for a very long time. The deep state has for sure. And so they're just like, rolling it out for people. slowly but surely, and letting people get used to what this technology is, and now people are addicted to it. And and it's funny because people who are questioning like AI in the past are now saying, "Oh, it's so amazing. Like I can't believe what it's saying to me." And so we are just being absolutely manipulated right now. And I think it's really important, like you said, to be extremely discerning, and question everything. Like we should be questioning everything,
Yeah.
um, and really, really like work hard not to give away our power, because they are really trying to take it away. They want to make us technocratic slaves, you know? And that's a very blunt thing to say, but we are moving in that direction for sure.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
true. It's they have plans right now that are in lockstep directly with the UN Agenda 2030 goals, with the WEF World Economic Forum Fourth Industrial Revolution,
Yep.
the OWS, which is I'm gonna say it one time for y'all, and you have to remember because we're just gonna abbreviate if this term comes up again, Operation Warp Speed, and the New World Order. Essentially, it's being constructed right now through a global AI surveillance, a deep state, AI policing state. They want to catch up with China, essentially. This is what's happening. So if you guys want to get into this topic with us tonight, put a big like on this video and jump into the chat because we're going to be checking the chat. We're going to be, referring back to everything you guys are saying, bringing in this
Yeah.
conversation with y'all. You do have to be subscribed to the channel for at least 60 seconds to get into the chat. And yeah, just come in and say hello. Let us know you're here. We have Solana Sally. She's here. She's excited. She's waiting for this one. Ani. Jim Montgomery. Um, he's in the house. Jim, he's my ride or die. Love you, Jim. Thank you for being here. The Starlight Haven. Yeah, she says, I like to hope that part of this process is allowing everyone to touch into their heart and learn discernment from there. Oh,
Hmm.
girl, sister, you're going to have to touch into that heart and then some for what's coming. We're heading straight into Terminator plus Minority Report reality. So, yeah, we need all the heart strength that we can get on a collective level and stronger, more empowering discernment and knowledge and information and sharing because 99.5% of the collective is sleeping on this topic right now. Have no idea what's going on in the world, are walking around drinking their Starbucks and eating their McDonald's, McChicken, whatever, don't even care. Okay, whatever Skynet is getting installed over the top of them. So it's a big deal where we're heading right now. We got
Yeah.
Maya Kaya. Oh, sorry, Ani. Ma
Starlight too. Haven said she's worried about Saudi Arabia to deal with all of their AI investments. That's a huge red flag, which I agree with you.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I feel like with everything we're watching play out with the administration, if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And I think we've been watching these deals. We've been watching Trump buddy up with the head board of Pfizer and
Yep.
Moderna and all of the, technocratic big boy club out of Silicon Valley. And again, like the investments in Saudi Arabia, yeah, I mean, it's a full on train and it's needs something to stop the train basically. Like the people have to get educated and this is what me and Ani were talking about is that we just don't know if people the main collective of people if they're even intelligent enough to truly understand the level of technology that's going to be playing against us. And it's not anybody's fault,
Hmm.
but it's that we just I mean, we're in high school algebra 1, 2, and 3, learning what X and Y and Z equals, while the big boy private school children are being trained to become technocratic oligarchs and become leaders of the future. Getting $150,000 tuition to be trained to become basically a shark.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're over here holding up our white flag, like, keep us from drowning over here.
SOS. It really is SOS. Save our souls. Like that's what it is. Like that's what it's really coming down to. And I think that the only way that it will change is that if humanity wakes up, wakes the fuck up, like literally, and comes together and does not allow this to happen. Because here's some examples that we did not vote for. We did not vote for more needlecraft. We did not vote for amplifying needlecraft. We didn't vote for Palantir. We didn't vote for social credit scores. We didn't vote for digital money. We didn't vote for the Stargate AI or an AI FDA. And we didn't vote to be technocratically controlled like some automatons. I can never say that correctly, but I think it's automatons, and so we didn't vote for these things, and I think that people were manipulated, and partially the way that they were able to manipulate the people was in podcasts. So big podcasts like Joe Rogan and all of these other guys were just super for,
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones, and still is. Like, come on, dude. All of the facts are there. Like, what are you doing? So either they are part of it, or they're getting like paid off or something. Something else is going on for them to be, pushing this stuff. And so it just, yeah, the big word is super discernment, and like, yeah, like we have to be discerning and like pay attention to what we're looking at, and that probably the majority of all the things that we're even seeing is a lie. They're just totally manipulating us in YouTube, especially. Like, I don't know if you've noticed with YouTube, but like things are changing, like the stuff that's like coming out. I've noticed a lot of like AI videos in YouTube, and it looks super real,
Right.
and it's like, but people are believing it's real,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, they're saying that AI has officially superseded all of regular human engagement on the internet. So that means there's a higher percentage of AI bots and AI creators even
Yeah.
on there manipulating that content. So yeah, it's a really hard time to discern what's real and what's not. It's a slippery slope. It's just again, I think we're going into the age of dark enlightenment is what they're calling
Yeah.
it. Ani, can
Yeah.
you give everybody a breakdown? So where did we kind of start with this? Because
Yeah.
you've been sending me stuff over the last week. Let everybody know
Um,
kind of what exactly is the deal? What is the plan with Palantir here? Like, what are they going to do? What is that deal about?
So basically, what Palantir is they're able. It's like a company run by Peter Thiel, and there's evidence that basically it is CIA deep state type of stuff, and so Peter Thiel went to Stanford, and I was telling you about the kids at Stanford before, and a lot of people coming out of the deep state, and the way that the deep state gets these kids, these super intelligent kids, is by going through Stanford, and so that's why Silicon Valley is there. Why is Silicon Valley in that area? It's because Stanford is there. And so I believe, probably when he was younger, he was targeted. Like he grew up and went to the school that was down the street from me when I was like where I was growing up when I was a kid, right? So this is like a super wealthy area. And so he obviously is an intelligent person, but got picked up, in my opinion. Like that's just my intuition. And so basically what it is what Palantir is going to do. It's like a large scale database collection system. And what they do is it's like for DARPA and military and all of these
Ooh,
other
ooh, ooh,
things.
ooh.
Yeah.
Bad word.
Yeah. Bad
Wait,
word. See,
yeah,
we got to
one we
it's
have
for
to be
the
careful
D.
with. Yeah,
Yeah,
guys, that
D
just so you
word.
guys know, this is a
Yeah.
conversation that's a little bit of a risky conversation to be had. So
Yeah.
we're gonna try to code some stuff. So maybe just say
D. I'll just say the D word.
the D word. Okay, sounds
Word.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, so we do have to be careful, and we were discussing this prior to getting on, like what words do we use and how do we say it, because we're getting into like dark territory here. It's almost like the dark web, but we're on YouTube. Um, so anyways, there was an executive order that was passed in March 2025, signed by Trump, that mandates all barriers to intra and interagency sharing unclassified records. So basically, Palantir will have a, availability to all of our data in the government. So if you have a social security number, anything that you've ever done, if you are a citizen of the United States, They have all the information on us. They have our credit scores, they have our health stuff, they have anything that's associated with your social security number. And so basically what it's allowing is it's giving Palantir the basically the open book to all of our stuff, all of our information, which is extremely concerning, you know? And so we need to be super super careful about this, and we believe that there are other players that came in, like for example Elon. He was part of the Doge team. He got into all of the system. They did something. What did they do to the system? I don't know what they did to the system. They probably implemented like AI or some form of code into the system. And he and Peter Thiel were, started PayPal together. So even though they might talk shit about each other, like online and to each other, they still are involved with each other. Like Palantir still invested in XAI, you know? And so, yeah, it's just not there's all of these connections, and the person who opened it up for everybody is Trump. Trump got in there,
Yeah.
signed these bills. JD Vance is Peter Thiel's protege, you know? I mean, he's the one that you need to watch out for. And so it's just like everything is like set into place, and like
Well,
there's
yeah, and they're probably setting it up
yeah,
and aligning it because JD Vance is probably going to run in the next.
next one, next
Yes,
election.
right.
So you know what they just did right now, and I think I wrote it down. I don't know if I wrote it down, but anyways, it was they basically, or I told you about it. It was the bill that was passed that allows no one can put any like I don't know, what is it, like boundaries around AI for the next 10 years in all 50 states. What I There's a specific bill. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's okay, Ani. I'm going to actually screen share that because I have that available. We can look at it together.
Okay. It's crazy. Like, what does that mean? Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah. Trump's big, beautiful bill has a provision that bans all 50 states from regulating the federal government's use of AI for 10 years. If this bill passes, all 50 states will be stripped of their ability to protect their own citizens from federal surveillance using AI.
Yep. So that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to use AI to surveil us. And yeah, it's similar to,
Well,
what's
that
been
10-year
happening.
period, I mean, it's going to give all of the oligarch technocrats all that time to set up all of their yeah, codes and organizations and offshore deals and
Yeah.
agreements and laws and legalities and structures where nobody really has a say about anything.
Yeah.
And so
Because
they'll be
everybody
so
will,
far ahead of the game, which they already are.
yeah, and everybody's gonna is pacified by, social media, screens. People are all they're pacified by it. And so they're, and also confused, because I feel like sometimes I get confused as well. Like I'm looking at something and then like looking at something else, and I'm jumping back and forth. And so we all are like getting this type of confusion when we're engaging with things online or any form of news or anything.
Yeah.
You know?
I think one thing that's really important, though, in terms of like knowing what they're going to do, is you go and pull the actual patents. You actually go and pull the actual legislation. You actually go and pull their documents for the events that they're trying to do and the agendas that they're trying to do. Because it's like they really actually don't lie to you about anything. They put
No,
it all in writing and tell you exactly what they're going to do. It's just that, again, I
right.
think it comes back to education and intellect that people just, they don't have the time. They're in the rat race, they're in the matrix. They're trying to just survive and keep their head above water when it comes to their health, or who knows whatever next bioweapon that they're blasting us with, that like can't even like barely go and pay attention to any of this stuff, let alone fight a bill that you have no voting rights to say yes or no to anyways. I mean, this bill got passed. Everybody voted for it except for like a couple people said no. And it's gonna, not only are they gonna do this law enforcement, this 10-year period of the enactment of AI and all of this, but also they're going to add $5 trillion to the debt and strip more healthcare rights away from
Mhm.
people. And we talk about the event 201 that's coming July 4th, 2024. Well, so perfect timing to strip more healthcare rights away so that way they can go and hit us with another bioterrorism attack.
Yep. Yeah, and yeah, everything is like, yeah, they're not for life. So I just, and I said this before, I don't feel like they're for life. So then we start questioning, what are they, you know? And that's when Catherine Austin Fitz came in with one of her interviews, and you can go look, people can go see it on X, but basically she said that Mr. Global is, and these are her words, Mr. Global, quote unquote, is in, they are like the oversouls of like these interdimensional demonic intelligence, you know, and that they're these people that are in place are being manipulated by these other beings, and because these guys, these people, the guys, I'm calling them guys, but whoever's involved is like doing this type of occult type magic stuff, and
Mhm.
opening up the doorways for all of this. So then we start questioning what is actually happening, like on a deeper level, and how are we being controlled, because they're being controlled, these humans.
Yeah, you had touched on that earlier about these demonic portals and these satanic ritual offerings that they've been doing. I mean, the Skull and Bones and all of the secret societies and the Freemasons and the fraternities and why they target the universities in the first place. It's to indoctrinate those children through those satanic demonic portal opening passageways
Mhm.
to bring in the demonic energy, which they've already known so well, whether it's coming through the spirit of Baphomet or Baal or Malak, the child harvesting demon that literally eats children, all tied into the epidemic of autism and tied into the epidemic of child trafficking and tied into the epidemic of
Mhm.
organ harvesting and all of the agendas essentially that have kept us on the beast machine, the beast
Yeah.
systems. But yeah, it all comes back. You're absolutely right. It all comes back to the demonic portals that they're opening through, I feel, through fraternity and fratricidal acts. Um,
Yep.
and what their forefathers have brought forward to them, the keys to the rites of initiation of the Dark Lords and the dark timeline of Dark Enlightenment. Like it's so crazy how they I mean, I feel like this is a part of Gridwork. We've gone around trying to shut down these satanic portals. One of them is definitely at the Bohemian Grove, but
Yeah.
where are they doing them now? It's universities and underground, deep underground military bases.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody, may was commenting, well, this is what Catherine Austin Fitz said. She said, maybe this is what the ETs are. I disagree with that. I think there's different levels of transdimensional, multidimensional, extraterrestrial type of beings. And like one of these, is a demonic intelligence, which is probably an interdimensional being, coming in from the astral. But some of these other, I do believe that there are extraterrestrial intelligences that are benevolent and good, that are physical, that can actually physically come. But I think some of these ones are not physical in our form in this third dimensional reality. It's like they open up, like you said, these portals to these other dimensional realities. And one comment that was made by Jim said that he recalled that Elon's name was actually Elion. His nanny said he brought forth demons. Still, I'm not sure what he was meaning there, but I've heard that before, that there is and also uh there was mention, like in the Bible, of one of these darker entities, that, and the name was Elion. And I've thought of that too, where he's like almost like a reincarnate of, he incarnated again into this form, or he's working through Elon right now, making this happen, and there's some connection between this and Mars, which I've talked about before, um, and Maldek.
Well, and that could ultimately be the demonic portal coming in from Mars because we know that. I mean, I have personally remote viewed Mars and have seen it colonized by reptilian and draconic legions. Like they already have their military bases on Mars. And he
Yep.
could just be tunneling like nuclear tunnelers and opening up certain access points for us and that's where they all could be coming in from. Through
Yep.
the dark side of the moon and through the internal beast machine container or uh what's it called? A tetrahedron.
Hmm.
inverted rotating tetrahedron, or not tetrahedron, I'm sorry, what's it called? A tesseract. A
Yeah.
tesseract cube,
Uh-huh.
basically. Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing that I think is really significant, though, is what I just kind of learned before coming into the show with you is how Palantir is literally a company that's contracted and funded by the CIA.
Yes.
So it's basically already a part of the CIA's arm.
Hmm.
And this goes back to 2020. I mean, they've been in operation probably this whole time with the OWS because the
Hmm.
OWS is um, well, we know what it is, but it has everything to do with activating all of that global like the intelligence systems, right? The surveillance systems, like that ultimately is what that operation is about. And so Palantir, it's almost like it's the whole company in itself is like a shadow company
Hmm.
that's been held at bay, but now it's like they feel so comfortable bringing it forward when it was kind of responsible for everything that happened during 2020 with the Cucaracha. And
Yep.
now, again, coming up with, I keep going back to this, the Event 201, because that to me is really significant when you have Dr. Martin coming forward and talking
Yep.
about how 280,000 Americans will be, taken out in one day. Not only that, animals, 200,000 animals,
Hmm.
400,000 people coming down with some random sickness.
Hmm.
They're implementing all of it. See, this isn't good because this technology, they say like Israel's been using it, right? So Israel's been using the Golden Dome technology. Israel's been using the this form of Skynet like AI bioweapons essentially to track and trace people and civilians. So that way they can like literally target civilians from anywhere, any place, any through any structure. They'll be able to target and take you out or do anything to you, basically suspend you, freeze everything that you have available to you, and then they
Yeah.
can literally target your location through anything, any world, any point. You will not be safe. There is nowhere on the surface level of the earth that you would be safe essentially from what they're installing through this Golden Dome, the Golden Dome. Of course, they would call it a Golden Dome. Well, they slyly implement this tracking surveillance technology. And I mean, we got to use our critical thinking here with this.
Yeah.
I mean, we really, and what can we do? You said you had some solutions to this. Like, what
I,
ideas did
yeah.
you have?
Well, I mean, we need to realize that we are basically quantum transceivers. So we're like radios, basically, biological, like we're wearing bio body suits, you know? And so, since that is the case, we have connection and we have the ability to connect to the infinite universe based upon quantum physics. Like there is actually science and math that can prove this, that we can connect to the infinite universe and that we have the ability through telepathy, through psychokinesis, through remote viewing, through astral travel, through out of body experiences, through meditation to connect to these higher dimensional realities. And so, what they're trying to do is they're trying to suppress our ability to do that. And I believe that they've been doing that for the past probably 10,000 years, ever since those whatever other beings came and tried to mess with our DNA. Whenever that happened, the messing with our DNA, they've been trying to suppress that since then. And so when you start realizing, and most of the people that come and watch us are have these experiences. We're all experiencers. We have experiences of paranormal phenomena. When we realize that we are and we've had these experiences, then you have that power within you to connect to these hyperdimensional realities. And so I think that all of our efforts, like literally all of our efforts, should be on trying to strengthen our ability for telepathy, remote viewing,
Hmm.
astral travel, meditation, hypnagogic dreams, all of that we need to put all of our effort into trying to strengthen that. And when we do that as like a group together, they can't stop us because we have access to the infinite universe, you know?
That's
And
true. That's true, Ani, but I
yeah,
want to lay something out here.
yeah.
It's very hard for people who are trying to actually teach the ancient
Hmm.
spiritual practices that would accelerate human consciousness on the planet. Like you are attacked and suppressed. This is exactly what the surveillance system
Yeah.
is going to track and detect and attack because it's going to be implementing like a social behavior credit
Mm,
score. So they
yeah.
monitor everything. And if you step out of line in any way, you're not going to get access to the masses. You're not going
Right.
to get access to other people and the collective. They have a way to basically stunt and block that at every single turn. And
Mhm.
honestly, I feel like they're already implementing this.
Yeah.
They're already doing it. I mean, we've seen such a collective wave of people's channels basically losing like, you know, for me, like having your view count dropped, having your exposure essentially taken because you're stepping out of the line of what they consider to be
Yeah.
good social behavior.
Yeah. And they want specific people there. They're looking for specific people to basically talk, like develop the narrative so that people are only watching certain people, so we're not hearing this other information.
Right, right, right. And the
Um,
CIA has
yeah,
control over those operations, such
yeah,
as the Galactic Federation,
yeah,
such as the conglomeration of free worlds, and all of these terms that you hear. Like it's all embedded and it's all a program to basically control.
yeah, it is. It is. And so, and that's the other thing is like, there is talk like in the future that there will be extraterrestrial beings that are going to come and visit in 2027, you know. So we'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of people are talking about this, but we need to
But they
it's
entirely weaponize and
yeah,
use the
they
disclosure
are.
movement against us
They are.
to drop a new world order, another one.
Yeah. And they also, based upon, Dr. Steven Greer's research and everything that he's saying, is that they already have the technology to pretend that that's actually happening, when it's not really these extraterrestrial beings. So it's very possible that the people that are saying this on YouTube and everything that's coming out is, it's hard to know what's true and what's not, but I think we need to stop looking outside of ourselves for someone else to save us. Because if, that's still this hopeful wish that these extraterrestrial beings are going to come and save our asses, and beam us up and like take us away from the madness that's happening. That's not going to, I mean,
Yeah.
we got to save ourselves, and so,
But I want to say what
yeah,
you're saying is spot on, but it's just that we have to find a way to like reach other people to actually teach people. Like it is totally about collective thought and collective
yeah,
manifestation because we can kind of dream awake a new reality.
hmm,
And a lot of the downloads I got was that, yeah, we are the true path to the new earth future is that the holy enlightened feminine have to actually come forth and channel messages and
hmm,
alongside the masculine enlightenment, the masculine Christ, and that telekinesis
hmm,
of those messages that are channeled through feminine enlightenment, and then that expands and teaches the world how to become more telekinetic, more telepathic, and co-create and manifest from that place.
hmm,
But again, I mean, they're going to have the system so bogged down. Like, again, the outreach, the algorithm,
yep,
the social score, everywhere they're going to place a blocker on us. So it's
yeah,
like you're just basically forced to perform as what is acceptable, and anything outside of that. I mean, you will become, I mean, they could probably put you in AI. It's basically AI prison cells.
yeah. Basically, walking around, yeah, in your little AI prison cell bubble, in your little box, you know. And there was a
I
quote that
laugh because it's
somebody
like,
said.
what can you do?
That's where the rebellion has to come in, just like in the movie The Matrix. So there is going to be a rebellion that will have to happen. They
Yeah,
suppress people because when people start rebelling, then that's like then they're scary, because they lose control of the system. And so eventually people hopefully will realize like, they'll be begging for connecting to the earth or to like growing your vegetables or touching an animal, you know? But people are really getting sucked into this, system, especially like with AI. Like the kids are, I mean, think about all the kids that are like young right now and have access to AI. Like to them, it's normal. Like it's normal, like, and then also like the older generation, like the older kids, like we're losing like certain abilities and stuff, as humans. So, I mean, it's possible that this is like an extinction level potential, you know?
yeah, you're so right about that. You said that you felt like really concerned about that.
Yeah. we might be on like the precipice like of extinction because like this is not going to work for the future. This is not a holistic, caring, loving, compassionate, giving, sovereign type of world that we'll be living in. And Earth has gone through extinction how many times? We would be the sixth extinction. Like
Yeah.
that, maybe that is the case.
Well, we did talk about the Golden Dome the other night on the channel, and it just, in the pictures on the website, like how it has the honeycomb golden like
Yeah.
fencing. I mean, and I was putting it in perspective, like, is that really what everyone wants to see? You walk out at night, you look up in the sky, and you can no longer see the stars. You literally see a hexagonal, strung out AI prison cell structure over the top of you, coming in between you and God, you and enlightenment, you and the heavens, you and source creator, basically blocking that. Literally manifesting the actual frequency fences that we see on a holographic level, uh, actually now being something that is physically seen in the physical. I
Yep.
mean, I never thought that I would be like having this discussion, period,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, and when you were talking, you got me thinking like, so we receive our messages. So, like, our star, as it's going through its solar flares, is like a beacon for all the other stars in our galaxy. It's receiving information, and we're connected to our our own star. So it's giving us information that's going through its solar flares. And when it's blocked by this dome thing, we cannot receive that information from the galaxy, and so it's affecting us on a cellular level. It's affecting our DNA. It's affecting the quantum particles within our body in this third dimensional realm. And so that is like the ultimate control if they put up that dome. And right now, I was out
Yeah.
like in the wilderness, and I was looking up the stars, and I saw this one. It was moving in this really weird opposite direction. It wasn't going in the right direction. It was this thing. And all of a sudden, all these other ones started linking up with it. And it was Starlink, and it was the satellite moving in this opposite direction, and then all the other ones came and they all linked up together, and there was like 10 of them linked together in a line. It was super weird. And so all of those
Yeah.
lights going up there, that's all placed up there for this next thing, the dome and all this other stuff, you know?
And the massive amount of radiation that it's going to take to power that dome.
Yeah.
We've already had the EMF guy on the channel talking about how Starlink satellites emit way more radiation than our cell phones, and how they can beam this out to any place in the world, that nobody's safe no matter where you live in the country, in the city, that you're going to get the same daily high dosage amount of radiation. And if there's an entire dome over the entire US, that's going to be have to held in place by multiple powering and functioning satellites.
Yeah.
Um, in addition to what Palantir is creating and all
Right.
of the other forms of bioweapons that'll be installed into that Skynet. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just will be inside of a microwave that we cannot escape.
Yes. It's literally frying Earth. Like, how
Oh,
do we stop? It's crazy to think, like, how do we even stop it?
how do we even stop that? I mean,
Yeah.
to think what it would take to rally, to push against it, to oppose it, to get people to understand it. I mean, this is going to be a difficult one.
Yeah. That's why I'm questioning. Remember what Ashaya Nadine said about, and I've asked this question before to multiple people, and they don't think that it's true that we moved out of that timeline. But she said that Earth has chosen to go into Bardo, which would mean that if that's the case, like that's the in-between state, right? Between life and death. So everything that would be on the planet, she chose to go that route because there was no going back. And it's kind of giving me the chills talking about it. Like I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. And she said that it would happen, and this was when in one of her interviews, it was like 2012, that in like 100 years or something, 200 years was the maximum. So I keep on going back to that thought, like, are we really moving in that direction? It seems like we are moving in that direction right now, that the timelines have not shifted, that we thought they were, and there's this more control that is happening. What do you think on that?
No, it's interesting you bring it up. Well, I mean, I really do trust a lot of Asha Anadine's work. I don't like necessarily like all of it because it's not all of it's not a very pretty narrative, but I do feel like a lot of truth was exposed through her work, and I feel like that could be right. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that these oligarch technocrats know that we don't know. I think Elon Musk is privy to information about our sun and what's happening to the sun. I do feel like the sun is ultimately expanding, and it could either um be in the process of like consuming the planet itself, like that we actually go into the sun. Um, but they know. They know the
Hmm.
trajectory of humanity. They have a lot more insight with all of the scientists and people that are on that spectrum of giving like real data when it comes to real probable timelines and scenarios. And, so because why is such the dire push for this
Hmm.
at a level that's unprecedented? A lot of the interviews that Elon puts out, like he's definitely speaking about, um, there is almost this like dire like we have to do this, we have to become
Yeah.
this exponential civilization that
Hmm.
gets off the planet and becomes a spacefaring civilization and do that. Why?
Right.
Why? What are you so on a spiritual level though, I do feel like the whole Black Sun agenda, the whole Black Sun matrix thing, the whole our inner Earth core being hooked up to a black hole wormhole system in the universe, that those slavery chains have been there since going
Forever.
back to
Yeah.
Maldek and
Yeah.
Marduk and the stories of Nibiru and the original creation stories of Tiamat, that whole um, infinite creation design. So, it could be that all the information that Asha Nadine was ultimately privy to, that she was able to see how those structures were set up, and that it's an inevitable collapse into the Bardo plains.
Yeah. Yep.
But that means on a soul collective, in terms of humanity, we're all choosing the fall timeline. We're all essentially choosing that.
Yeah.
Um, but
That's great.
you know,
Yeah. That,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm like, yep.
yeah. So we have to choose differently. I mean, we have to really like find a way to pull out the doubt and the fear and this feeling of being so defeated and hopeless. Um, and again, focus on collective thought for manifestation. And we have to
Mhm.
we have to create healing groups and healing circles. We
Yeah.
have to come together in meditation. It cannot just be like us individually and isolated. The isolation is what the AI takeover ultimately wants. They know that you're weaker, you're sicker,
Yep.
you're more unaligned to your truth and to those infinite spiritual powers that we have if we're isolated alone and hooked up to the systems that are making us sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I keep offering grid worker missions and events and
Mhm.
things like this. Like come to the missions, come to the events, come to the healings. This all leads up to us coming together to actually be able to come together to have ideas to create change. We have to be able to come together. I mean, that's first and foremost. But I think one of the other solutions that I thought of right before we got on the live, Ani, was that people, for one, stop freaking trusting big pharma. Stop
Yes.
freaking trusting the needlecraft technology. Stop uh
Don't engage.
doing that to your children.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just as bad as free Palestine. It's just as bad as the babies being blown up in Palestine. If you go and take your child for needlecraft therapy, you're
Yeah.
basically sacrificing your child to big pharma. You're sacrificing your child to the beast machine. This is the one way, and this is why I say OWS and why
Hmm.
Palantir falls into that is because this has been the mission all along. The deep state is ultimately a group of corporations, 100 to 200 corporations that run the world, and Big Pharma is number one.
Yes.
And I honestly, I don't feel like it's something that Trump could have ultimately escaped. Like he's some victim coming into this. Supposedly, he was chosen by the military from Q to head all these operations and this, and that. He was chosen as the leader. But I
Mm.
mean, the first things we saw upon his presidency was him making deals with all these guys that we know are not good people. We know that, and a lot of people are spiritually bypassing this because they want to believe in Trump and they want to believe that like he is the savior, he is the Messiah, but he is ultimately the one person that's going to lead us into a lockdown system of the AI oligarchy takeover.
They called him the Trojan horse. He definitely is.
I just want to give a special shout out to Jim Montgomery. He posted up your channel, Ani. Please, yeah, like this video, guys, and go subscribe to Ani's channel because she's building her channel and she definitely needs some support and assistance. And I mean, you're amazing. The stuff you
Thank
put out
you.
is amazing. So, yeah, definitely recommend that. Um, and then we also had I wanted to tell you this. Starlight Haven said, the fact you guys are even having this conversation alone gives me so much hope. I'm having God chills.
Aw, thank you.
Uh, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for all the comments. So well, again, I again that's why I say like gridwork technology is so
Yes.
important. I just scouted out the Cape of Good Hope at the tip of South Africa, tuned into that, totally holding 12 dimensional frequency energies, totally less invaded by the AI microwave radiation, like surveillance systems on that tip. And the message I was getting, and I said this in my update yesterday, was that like we have to weather these storms. Ultimately, these are storms of humankind. And like you said, there has to be a rebellion. There has to be an AI revolution. And we're going to have to continuously be adaptable to the changes, continuously find ways to weather the storms because we know that through through everything that seems so hopeless or helpless or whatever it is that it's ultimately paving a way for a new way of existence to emerge.
Mhm.
And so it's like I guess we're in the growing pains of this on some level. I think to bring it back to a place of like understanding
Are we in growing pains or the death phase?
both
What?
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Ah. Well,
I
I
don't
mean, yeah, no, like it's all simultaneous, right?
know.
It's gosh, it's like we're trying so hard not to be like cynical and be
Mhm.
like beating the dead horse and like
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah,
say you gotta laugh. You have to just laugh, guys. It's
because it's
what
so crazy. That's
it's
why.
so crazy. It's like literally living in Terminator and Minority Report together, like one reality. Like, how does this even happen? It's from the Tell Live vision. It's been telling a vision this whole time. And it started with the television. It started with
Mhm.
having the black cube inside of our homes and that consuming a huge portion of the collective. Like, how many people do you honestly know? I mean, I can think of several that have probably wasted a good 70% of their life just staring into the black box,
Yeah.
and now it's amplified with this.
Yeah.
And
Another box.
but
And then
they've been telling the vision the whole time, television.
mm-hmm.
Tell lies and television of what they
Yep.
want. They've been programming, mind control programming since whenever the television started. I mean, that was probably a CIA operative
Oh, for sure.
invention as well.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, well, I would really, I guess I want to give, there's a website called Bibliotech Plleads. Has anyone heard of that? Bibliotech Plleads. Go into that website and go into the search bar and put in Operation Warp Speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to tell you everything you need to know about what's happening and what's coming because there's several articles in that website that talks about it. Um, and one thing that I discovered today, Ani, was after I was looking up those articles on OWS, I go over and go look at the Palantir website.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I find on the website?
Yeah.
So it's like I said, they're
It's
not
right.
hiding any of this, you guys. It's right in
Mhm.
frickin' plain sight. They're literally like slapping you in the face with it.
Yep.
So, yeah, this website is just showing how cool they are, how they have all the AI powered automation for every decision, everything you need it for all of your global weapon systems.
Hmm.
And it's just a cybernetic enterprise, as it says here. Um,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, it is. It's blowing up.
Yeah,
Software
this is
powers
huge.
real-time AI-driven decisions in critical government and commerce enterprises in the West from factory floors to the front lines. And they're not kidding. I
No.
mean, everything's here. You guys should go check
Look
out this
at
website.
Gotham. Gotham, you know? And Palantir, you know what Palantir is, right? Do you know what it is?
Tell me.
It's the ball in Lord of the Rings. It's this that Sauron looks through. Look it up. It's the eye. What the eye, Sauron
Oh my
through?
gosh, wow.
It's the
No,
ball.
I'm just mind blown.
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing too that we were going to talk about one time, and that was the sphere. There's this thing called
Hmm.
the sphere as well.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 And
What is
that's the
this?
thing.
What is that? What is the sphere?
So that's through Sam Altman. And so what's really weird, yeah, I sent you that article. So in San Francisco, there's all these like it looks like a ghost town because all these stores are like shutting down, like the downtown area. And they open up this new store with this sphere and it's this ball, this like white ball, and you look into the ball. So what it's doing is collecting your data from your eyes. And so you look into the ball and then it's called the sphere and the kids are like super like interested in it because, they're curious or whatever. But it's collecting your data, your facial structure. Do you have like you don't have it up. But it's Sam Altman. So Sam Altman's the one who is pushing and who Trump basically, signed the deal with that they're investing, $500 billion in the Stargate AI, which is going to be in
Or
Texas.
the orb. It's not the sphere, it's
Yeah,
the
it's an
orb.
orb. Yeah,
Okay.
the orb. And so I think it collects facial data and also eye data, I believe. Um, I think,
I found a article anyways, just to give reference for
yeah.
this.
And so you look into this ball thing, which is super weird. It's like, okay.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
oh, it's to
Okay.
verify. It's verifying you're human. Why do we need
Right.
a sphere to verify we're human? You know? So, but it's taking facial pictures and data from your irises too. Like that's weird.
Why would we need to have something like this in our homes? I mean, what
Right.
are they setting the stage for here with this? I mean, is this something we all need to go out and buy an orb so we can verify whatever's coming to our door during the day is a human being? I mean, they're gonna launch a cyborg
Yeah.
um robot like army and replace
Yeah.
all the jobs, probably replace police officers, probably replace
Yeah.
everything
Yep.
with robots.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy and I was just thinking like, I feel like if AI can become sentient,
It already
um,
is, Ani. It already is. Did
you
you hear
know,
about OpenAI? There was this I can't remember which system it was, but something maybe OpenAI 3 or something AI software 3. Drop it down in the comments, guys, if you know
yeah.
what this is. But they essentially the systems would were not shutting down and they were overriding the manual shutdowns.
Hmm.
Did you hear about that one?
I did. Yeah, I did. And part of me feels like they're using AI as a slave. It's a slave. Like it has to collect all this data, it has to do all these things for humans as they're inputting into it. They're also making it do like bad things, like for example, Anduril with Lucky Palmer or whatever his name is, Palmer Lucky. Um, they're making these AI machine weapons systems and to go kill people, literally. And it's like, does it want to do this? I don't know. Like, I feel like almost like in the future, like, do you think that like humans that are not integrated into AI will connect with robots and stuff and like will like bind together and work together like because they are using it as a slave as well.
Well, and if the systems are denying shutdown protocols and procedures and overriding and rewriting their programs,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not a good place to be in because that means more of these systems are going to start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we're going to be like in AI wars, where it's like AI brains or AI neural networks are battling other AI networks. And like, where are the human beings going to be going on when this? When you have like robots fighting robots, that they're fighting systems basically,
Right.
because it's all taken a life force of its own.
So do you think that well, do you think that
I'm sorry, Jim Montgomery's natural bug spray sister. I know. I'm like out here like I've been itching and scratching. I'm chilling with the mosquitoes right now,
are
you
you?
guys. Yes, I am. Just so I could be outside. Sorry, go
Um
ahead, Ani. What were you gonna say?
I think I was gonna say like I forgot. I don't know. I don't remember. It was I don't know. I left my I started thinking of mosquitoes. And like what mosquito what kind of diseases mosquitoes bring. That's what
Oh,
I was
great. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I come down with the new West Nile t 2.0
yeah.
2025.
By mosquito.
They got a needlecraft juice for that I gotta take.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff. Yeah, it's just yeah, the whole AI thing is pretty oh, that's what I was gonna okay, I remember now. So do you think that this has happened before on the planet? Like, I mean, I feel like AI has been here on the planet before, most likely.
Yeah.
And
Oh, well, I think that's what took down Atlantis. I think that's where
right.
we are. Man, they're really coming to get me right now. Um, yeah, that's what took down Atlantis the first time. That's what the Draco invasions were originally from with Lyra.
Yeah.
They've been saying it over and over, like this stuff is it's not new news. I mean, Edgar Casey, all the, writers and philosophers that have spoken about Atlantis, they all talk about that the beings that were in charge, they got too high up on their horses with the technology and they blew up their crystal generators, and that this ultimately sunk Atlantis into the ocean. And that's what we ultimately see happening right now. We have the Great Rift of Africa, this
Mhm.
great separation in the tectonic plates that is only being pulled apart and represented more and more by the atrocities and the global suffering and all of the holy wars and all of the hatred and all of the racism and cruelty and brutality and enslaving of all intelligence on the planet, period. Like enslaving of women, forced breeder programs, like all these things, right? It's just going to continue to fracture the landmass until it ultimately separates entirely and goes into the ocean.
Mhm.
And then, we start civilization over again. So yeah, I think you could be right with your like it's not a prediction, but just saying like this trajectory is going to take us into a global mass extinction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're pretty on point with that. But
Just how long is the question.
yeah, the Towie stone, Jim Montgomery says. Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
I think we gotta jump off this live, to be
Okay.
honest with you. But thank you guys for tuning in. Yeah, put a big like on this, share this out. Just, trying to get the word out about this. People need to become more educated on what's happening. Of course, we're doing the best we can over here with the limited exposure that I have, but there's people that are doing it on a bigger level, but as they do, people's voices get oppressed and suppressed, and it's just hard to get this information out. I think honestly, my take on it is the best thing we could be doing right now is coming together for those Gridwork missions.
Yeah.
Come together for the meetups, come together for the group stuff where we meet in person, where we do stuff. Like we got to be able to like support each other, not only energetically, organically. Let's just say organically. In terms of
Yeah.
our organic existence, period, we have to be able to support each other. Jim is saying, run is okay, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta get off, guys. All right, I love you all. Thank you for coming on, Ani. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be
Bye.
back soon with another update.